does the American dream in Mary Poppins reflect today's American dream? Well, wait, never mind. You probably don't know the answer to that question.
Why don't we just dumb it down for you, okay? What is your dream? I mean, what is your American dream? Because we live not in the United States, but in America. If you had an answer to the end of that question, then you have serious problems.
Does your American dream include a grand domain, offspring, an excess of convenient temporary products that will ultimately lead you to decadence in our society?
Well, you came to the right video.
American dream is connected to becoming wealthy and the ability to achieve everything if one only works hard enough for it. This theme is primarily seen through the Disney movie Mary Poppins. There are obviously examples of the attempt to obtain the American dream because they strive to obtain cliche American goals.
Wait, what? That's not what Mary Poppins was about at all. It was about people jumping through chalk art and singing on rooftops. Haha, silly me from the past. You didn't even see this coming. Mr. Banks is a magnate in England who is extremely devoted to his work at the British Fiduciary Bank, basically the classic average ordinary American. There isn't much of a difference between this movie and today. This movie takes place in London, England, 1910, but was filmed by Disney in 1964. America is basically written all over it. The characters strive to pursue cliché American dreams, which only supports Peter Krasnos's belief that people don't like change.
The only major differences are the terms and languages used by Mr. Banks.
It's grand to be an Englishman in 1910. King Edward's on the throne. It's the age of men. I'm the lord of my castle, the sovereign, the liege.
He uses words which makes him feel more superior to his family and those around. He is basically comparing himself to King Edward of England.
Mr. Banks has a typical American dream, which consists of having several children.
The event could have cost him his seamless career.
Man, I really wish I had a song for everything. Stop dreaming it, Allie, from the past. It's not gonna happen. Go away.
Fundamental human right should be treated equal to men. When she sings of soldiers in petticoats, she's saying that women should be able to enlist in the armed forces, but they are expected to remain at home.
Men were no exception to generals either. At the time of 1910, grown males were expected to work every day.
A man has dreams.
Prosperous household. Both Mr. and Mrs. Banks devote their time to pursuing their own American dream. Mr. Banks seeks a predictable...
So, as you just saw, Mr. Banks was questioning his whole perception of the American dream for the better.
But they do so separately after they cycle.
My world was calm, well ordered, exemplary. Then came this person with chaos in her wake.
He's basically committing the fundamental attribution error. The house itself, as well as everything in it, belongs to the husband. In all the fixtures, the most abject is his breeding machine, the wife. Mothers are denied rights over family property, and most are treated like any other upper servant. That was from Walters. So even though the mother in the movie is supposed to stay at home, she actually denies.
Oh, my life's ambitions go with one fell blow.
He is literally saying that because of Mary Poppins, his goals are changing and everything that matters to him is far gone.
And successful nanny in American history.
You've got to grind, grind, grind at that grindstone. Though childhood slips like sand.
So impressive isn't even a decent word for her. Mary Poppins is the solution to the Banks problem because she introduces a joyful way of life to the family. So even though people hire nannies for the sole purpose of caring for their children, Mary Poppins manages to include Jane and Michael's parents in their life even without their consent.
Bert is saying that Mr. Banks needs to work to have a sturdy, loving relationship with his kids.
Taking his children on an outing to the bank. Yes, she tricked him a little bit. However, she gave him the chance to spend time with his children. Even Bert realizes that Mr. Banks was misled by his own anger and needs to become involved in his children's life by responding.
Thus, Mary Poppins leaves the family, aka the change in the wind. This can be seen in Let's Go Fly a Kite. Children got their kite stuck in the tree.
Which is pretty typical, but again, according to Mr. K, everything in the movie happens for a purpose. Like the fact that they asked Mr. Banks for help, but he denied them.
This battered and broken kite is symbolic of the family's loving relationships. But at the end of the movie, the kite, as well as several others, are flying high, as all kites should. So with Mary Poppins' help, a change in the wind allowed the kites to get up and out of the tree and into the wind.
And what's up with the lack of gravity? Wherever Mary Poppins goes, someone or something is flying magically in the air.
Well, this lack of gravity, like riding up the banisters, or even walking on smoke to rooftops and up chimneys, is a sign of one's disregard for the norms and expectations of society, and the courage to pursue joyful desires.
But it's just not Mary Poppins. The Uncle, Bert,
Mothers in 1910 were expected to manage and complete domestic responsibilities, which included home maintenance, child care, and other stereotypical tasks.
Rebellious woman obviously denies these standards by relying on her husband's will to manage her household. Hiring other people to manage her other responsibilities allows her to have the free time needed to.
she proclaims that how does the American dream
Cast off the shackles of yesterday.
which simply implies abandonment of the American dream. How it creates a disillusioned perception shown by Mr. Banks's failures and Mary Poppins' success.
Characters like Mr. and Mrs. Banks initially portray and support the idea of the American dream, while Mary Poppins and gradually everyone in the movie refutes this idea. Therefore, this movie reflects the American dream by portraying and later refuting this ideology through the characters, scenery, plot, and context.
Boom.
Okay, keep going, keep going.
That really hurt.
Trick you into taking the children on an outing?
Yes.
Outrageous.
Because of Mary Poppins, the Banks family finally realizes the importance of family relationships and a joyful lifestyle with a spoonful of sugar.
Let's go fly a kite and send it soaring up through the atmosphere, up where the air is clear. Oh, let's go fly a kite.
So at the beginning of the movie, the
Of course, most of you probably didn't have an answer to this question because it is such an old movie.
But if one analyzes the movie, its plot, its characters, and the other miscellaneous minor details, Well, stop dreaming. Am I looking this way? I'm looking this way, right?
Why are you laughing?
Because I saw a bird fly on the
Oh my god.
No, so in like the middle of the video, I go, what?
Why? That's the best thing I said.
It was pretty good though.
Though we adore men individually, we agree that as a group they're rather stupid.